here's a quick video discussing one of the strategies that Echo and I use. It's pretty effective. Here this match is just a Protoss Terran versus Zerg Protoss. Here we're on Echo right here. Just go here. Here's the first part of it here. He sends one of his probes from the very beginning. We'll just kind of follow him a little bit. Comes down here, and we're just gonna keep following him. Then what he does is here we're in the Protoss base. He uses the probe here, kind of scoots right along the edge there, and then parks the probe right there. Now you can kind of see fog of war right here, but you know, obviously for this player, this area is all black and he never spawned it. He doesn't have anyone up front here to detect that probe. Alright, so we just jumped ahead a little bit here. Now he's calling in a gateway. This is the main body of the strategy. He's going to turn it into a warp gate once he researches the ability. And by doing that, he's allowed to place his zealots anywhere on the map that he wants to, as long as there's a Protoss building. We'll hop down to the other part, and we can see right here he's building the pylon. So this is going to kind of act as his anchor for where his zealots are going to warp into. Alright, so we jumped ahead a bit here again. It's about, as you can see, 7 minutes into the match, so obviously the strategy isn't a long term, or a short rush type strategy. He's got his 6 warp gates right here, and we're going to see they all become warp gates. So here we're back down by the pylon, and Echo begins to bring in his zealots, and then here in a second he's going to bring him over, take out any kind of defense that the player has. There, now he attacks. Bring it back, and he continues bringing in units. Stalkers now. And now here's what, this is what you don't do. Not really sure why he did this. You can see the player brings all his probes over. I mean, if it was 1 or 2 zealots, that's kind of understandable. But in this case, he was probably better off warping in, continuing his economy and warping in other units. But, you know, it kind of played right into Echo's hands, because his main tactic is to come down usually into this area because nobody's expecting this, coming in, taking out all the probes. Kills them all in here. He's, you know, this is the only units production that he's needing to do right in this area. Kills them, kills off resistance, and then he goes to work on the pylons. You can see a nice counter by the Zerg player, who seemed to be pretty on the ball during this game. He brings in his let's see, yeah, some Zerglings and 2 roaches to kill the pylon, which is where the source of all the units are from. Comes in, takes it out, but again, you know, it was a little late because he's already got so many stalkers in the roaches, and then the Zerglings will fall pretty quickly, but not before destroying the pylon. But by this time, he's got so many units in there that it doesn't really matter. You know, this guy's economy is pretty much dead. He's got 2 probes. Kills that last pylon. He's got no unit production. Done for. Overlord coming in. He heads down here, and then I think in a few seconds here we'll see the GG once his Nexus gets blown up. Kind of, if you were wondering just what I'm doing in the background here, we'll actually skip back a little bit. You can see here I've got the M cubed going on here. In a second here I'll have a medic. Got my Marauders, Marines. And then basically my role in this part of the game is to kind of act as a buffer in case such as this guy, attacks, because all of Echo's units are being produced down in this region down here. And then I come through here once he's taken this guy out with a larger force, come in and pretty much clean up. And here we see created a few Mutalisks. The Stalkers are getting kind of beat up, but then by the time the Marines get in, they get shot down pretty quickly because they're not upgraded. So take the Mutalisks out, and then I think we get a second GG here in a second. Yep, there it is. And that's pretty much one of the strategies we like to employ. Kind of some things to keep in mind is that it's very resource intensive. As you can see here, 6 warp gateways, all these probes down here, starting as expansion. But it all kind of hinges right on getting that unit down into one of these nook and crannies down here where the player isn't going to expect it. Typically doesn't work against Terran as well because, as you'll see here, you can get a supply wall. Zerg doesn't work as well either because the creep they'll start to see. But usually against Protoss it's pretty effective. But the big thing to keep in mind is it's all about the element of surprise, and it's a good coordinated attack that works well. Here we've got a small force that we use to bring in behind as these guys start getting killed, clean up when they're weak. And the other thing is we also focus primarily on hitting the economy of the other players, because as long as we do that, that slows them down, we'll be ahead on the tech tree, and it's kind of how we win the game. So hope you enjoyed watching this little video. Hope to see you out there.